Today, I'm going to be discussing reasons maybe you shouldn't play Sorare. Now, obviously, this channel is very Sorare focused. You know, I've met the people that work there, I've gone to games because of Sorare, but I still want to be able to critique and raise issues that I think, especially for the long-term sustainability of the game. This is so crucial because people have so much money invested in the game, and I essentially advertise it every time I put out a video on it. So I think it's fair that I bring to light issues maybe you shouldn't play the game. Now, I will say my advice forever and always with things like Sorare is always, whatever you put into this, be willing to lose it. If you lost absolutely everything you had on Sorare, how would you feel the next day? You need to be able to go about your life, and that's kind of where I position myself, but I understand, like everyone else, it's really hard to do unless the event happens, and obviously that's the worst case event, which you don't want. Starting off then, the elephant in the room, the most obvious reason why you might not want to play Sorare. The prices of Sorare cards this year have just gone down, significantly down in value. That's no fun for anyone playing the game. And to be honest, no one is certain that they'll go back to the heights they were before, or that this trend won't continue forever. Because one of the very best benefits of Sorare is whichever fantasy football player you have the card for, you get their utility on the game for the rest of time. So until they retire. Obviously that could be 10, 15 years for some of these people. But the downside to that is that these players are available to play in the game for 10 or 15 years. So there is less need to buy new players, but Sorare still need to sell cards every single year to generate revenue and to be able to bring out essentially a prize pool of those cards. This means supply increases every year and further drives down card prices the longer we go on. Now, this could easily be countered and say, well, it doesn't apply if more users join the platform, but of course, we're looking at the long-term sustainability here. You can't have infinite amounts of people joining every year. Eventually, you're going to have a year where no new joiners join. And this linked on to my second reason not to play Sorare. The longer we go on, the harder it is to win rewards, which is obviously everyone's favourite part of the game, the reason they play the game. The reason for this is that obviously supply increases each year, as I discussed before, but the prize pools actually remain static. You can only generate prizes from either the revenue you create selling those cards or the cards themselves. Now, if I had to pick a number, I would say about 95% of the Sorare users probably play for some sort of financial gain, or at least the ability to be able to make a financial gain. That risk is what makes the game so fun, and that's why everyone plays so hardcore on fantasy football. But if the ability to win rewards every single year decreases, then I think the more time goes on, the harder it gets to make some sort of financial return on the game. And I think that puts players off, drives prices down further, and yeah, it's just not good for the sustainability of the game. Now, I know some hardcores will be arguing, oh, there's no way it's 95%, it's much lower than that. Or, you know, I play the game for fun, you know, even if it was free, I'd still be playing. Now, I completely understand that thinking, but I just don't really believe in it. When you see people with £100,000, £1,000,000 galleries, that is not for fun. You know, there's plenty of ways to have fun which aren't on fantasy football. Yes, like there is a degree of how addictive and how fun the game is, but without that financial risk, I don't think it is as long-term sustainable as people think. If we then agree that the ability to make some sort of financial gain on this platform is kind of one of the core reasons for playing, at the core fundamentals of the game, then some of the recent additions to the game I'm not actually a fan of. The most notable of these would be the recent 5% fee on secondary market. So if you go to sell a player from peer to peer, you're going to be charged 5%. If you consider that 5% like a house edge, like you would at, say, a casino, that 5% is near impossible to beat. So that ability to make a financial gain becomes near impossible. In fact, I actually suspect Sorare are purposely trying to do this to drive people away from considering this game anything like an investment and actually want it much closer to gambling, moving closer to something like, you know, a sports book where you put a bet on at the bookies on a football game and you have lots of fun with it, but just in a more, you know, traditional fantasy football method. Now, the idea of 5% at the bookies would be completely understandable, fair, but people go in with that expectation to lose and they're just gambling for a bit of fun on the game. I don't think that's the case on Sorare at the minute. I don't think the gallery sizes we have people are just happy to have that all erode away over time. I think it's more what I've said before, 95% kind of financial, not investing, but looking for that gain, looking for that risk, and that's kind of the fun of the game. I just feel that 5% is too high. You know, a 1-2% I think could have even brought in the same amount of revenue because obviously we'd see market volume increase. So yeah, just long term, I think 5%, it's going to be like a house edge where you just erode capital away. People won't like that over time, and yeah, damages the long-term sustainability again, and might be a reason people don't want to play. Now, the next reason people might not want to play Sorare is again a recent addition to the gameplay. And yes, it has lots of fun benefits and it's been received very well by the community, but I am still concerned for the long-term impacts this will have. Of course, it's the collection game bonus. It essentially allows long-term holders to gain an additional 5% on card scores. But given the fact most cards will already be on about 10%, that puts them on a forever bonus of up to 15%. I just think that is wildly too high and people don't realize it enough. It makes a little more sense when you evaluate it, right? Let's say 15% is a max. Very hard to get, very unlikely most people are going to be on it, but between 15 and 10% will be quite common, I'd say, as time goes on. But the problem with that is that buying brand new cards from the platform, you start on 5%. Yes, this 5% grows quickly, but still, for a sustained amount of time, any old holders of cards will have between 10 and 15% and just be beating the new players. There's absolutely no reason why users should go out and buy new cards unless you are a brand new user. If you are a brand new user, you know you're competing at a disadvantage to people that know the game better, have more powerful cards. It just doesn't, it doesn't generate any reason to old players to go out and buy new cards or new players to come in and buy new cards. I just think it is hugely being overlooked at the minute, and it is a reason definitely not to play the game, even if it seems like a fun little side game at the minute. Now, of course, you can reduce this impact, say it goes from 5% to 2.5% or whatever, but people are already making their decisions based on it being 5% for the rest of time. So it's very difficult to chop and change rules when there's so much money invested or used on this platform. And I actually want to add another reason not to play the game in its current state is the amount of rule changes we've seen. This year, I think of, 3 just off the very top of my head, which had quite a significant impact, right? The scoring matrix changed, we added Division 2 leagues, significantly increasing the supply of cards, and then the collection bonus. Changing these rules so significantly when, again, the platform has millions of dollars involved in it, and it can either make or break galleries, I just don't think it's right. Now, at the moment, I appreciate it's not really a problem at all because I think everyone sees the bigger picture here where it's like, long term, for the game to be better, this change is needed. And this is what the company believes, and that's why they're doing it, that's why it changes. I get that. It's just the longer this game goes on, eventually we're just going to need to lay all the rules out. The game's going to need to stay as it is and just, hope for the best, which is why I'm so passionate about collection game bonuses having a high percent or the secondary market fee being a high percent, because it does damage the long-term sustainability. And I don't think there's many people that want this game to be around for the next 10, 20, 50 years more than me. And I'm sure there's plenty more reasons, and do let me know some in the comments. This is just a little draft I've made quickly. The next one's a little more casual, at least. It's actually about casual users. So I don't think the game is very casual friendly. A lot of people play this game or sign up to this game under the illusion of more players coming, having a million active users playing, like an FPL, like a FIFA, and it's completely possible. But I think in its current state, it's not realistic. I'm not just talking about the crypto side, because obviously the crypto side puts a lot of people off. But with the new fiat wallet being introduced this summer, that will significantly, reduce the amount of, techness or tech savviness you need. But ignoring that, I think it's just a lot to take on. Like, I've spoken to a lot of hardcore football fans, a lot of hardcore gamblers that would love to get involved. But it's just a lot of time, a lot of effort. Think how complex the scoring matrix is. Think how many different divisions you can play and where should you be playing and all the different rules associated. Then add on top the fact of how many different leagues are covered. It's like, okay, well, I quite like the Premier League, but, if I wanted to play the Premier League, I'd just play the league-specific one. Then you need to get involved in all these other leagues. And, playing All-Star, you need to be aware of every single league across every single world that's covered. So, yeah. Now, you might argue that, just because it's only, hardcore football fans or hardcore fantasy football fans that want to play the game and, casuals won't really find it attractive, that's not going to kill the game. Maybe not initially, but I think over time, if you don't get more users joining the platform, there's a 5% fee, there's new supply that comes out every year, I think prices are just going to rapidly decrease like we've seen this year, and that could just, completely take away even more users from the game, like I spoke about at the start, where, people are looking for a likelihood of financial gain. All of these different problems mix into one, just of, a definite risk, a definite concern of reasons for not playing Sorare. So, whether you're currently playing or whether you're thinking about signing up, I think it's crucially important to be aware of these distant facts. And these are just my opinions, of course. These don't mean there's any facts behind this. It's just my feeling on the game. And I've actually done one of these videos before, and I've just watched it back. And Sorare did actually solve a lot of the problems I discussed in that video. So hopefully going forward, we see a lot more resolutions to these, what I would call problems. Maybe you disagree, that's fine. But yeah, I hope you like this video. little different, but if you did like it, please drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, and all the best to you. Cheers.